Hello and welcome to Reef Radio. Today, Guardians, we were blessed with a gameplay tour of the European Dead Zone, which will be the largest patrol area in Destiny 2. This video comes from PlayStation's YouTube channel, so make sure you check them out with the link in the description. Obviously though, this is extremely revealing, and it contains spoilers of the area itself, so view at your own discretion. Now that that's out of the way, let's get into this. Immediately, we see the map of the EDZ. Like Nessus, we see that we have 3 different landing zones to choose from. We can also see that there's approximately 14 lost sectors to discover in the EDZ. Lost sectors, of course, are the hidden dungeons that you must discover in order to slay a boss and collect some sweet loot. 14, though, is honestly way more than I had expected, so that's some really awesome news. We can also see that there's at least 6 adventures in the EDZ, which are sort of side quests, which allow you to find lore in the world that we are exploring. Then we can see this new icon in the lower right corner that's green with these sort of like lines bursting off of it. This will actually be the new location of an NPC named Devrim Kay, but we'll talk more about that in a minute. Additionally, we can see at the very top of the map a purple triangle logo. Part of me, just a tiny little part of me, Guardians, wants to speculate that this could be the actual raid location, as it has been rumored that the raid location will be on Earth in the European Dead Zone, but this seems like some wishful thinking to me, so I'm not going to let my hopes get too high on that. Let me know what you think this purple emblem could mean, though, in the comments below, because I have no idea. I would like to note that it appears that the map actually expands if you hover over to the left, as there is an arrow pointing left on the leftmost adventure icon. So perhaps the map is even bigger than we can see here. So now we're going to return to the subject of our new sniper friend, Devrim Kay. Apparently he will be our lead NPC for the European Dead Zone. It seems he'll act very similarly to a faction, as he has an inventory of gear that I assume will be rotating. He also has 2 nodes that give you EDZ rewards. To receive these rewards, you must exchange an EDZ token or a Dusklight shard, which both can be earned by completing acts in the EDZ patrol. The Dusklight shard actually appears to be the new planetary material for the EDZ, as you can see a player farm it in this footage, similar to Spin Metal that was in Destiny 1. So Devrim Kay will also be, he'll actually have his own reputation meter, so you'll most likely gain reputation for him when completing public events or adventures in the EDZ, as well as turning in some of those tokens. They then play an adventure called a Frame Job, which has them encounter some Fallen and some Cabal forces. So both of these enemy races will be present in the EDZ very clearly. But speaking of the adventure, it took the player about 8 minutes to complete, so these adventures aren't necessarily too long, but it did take them to several different locations in the EDZ, so it might perhaps feel like sort of a journey, which is a good thing. As far as rewards go, he was given a blue Warlock bond, a green grenade launcher, and an EDZ token, plus some glimmer. So obviously this is a lower light level activity, but supposedly more missions and possibly adventures will open up on your map as you complete others, so perhaps they can give higher rewards as you rank up. The next portion of this video is very exciting because for the first time ever in Destiny, we will have fast travel capabilities, Guardians. I know this may seem like just a simple thing, but it'll make exploring these new patrol zones far less tedious, and it'll allow you to spend your time in-game more efficiently, which is awesome. To fast travel, you simply pick any of the landing zones on the map, and you go there. They then join a public event, which we can see on their map actually, as well as how much time is left in the event. This particular event had them killing a massive Fallen servitor to cut off their ether supply. Even more, there are now hidden objectives in public events that'll trigger a heroic public event. They are hidden, so we don't actually get to see how he triggers this heroic public event, but it will flash on your screen that you've joined a heroic public event, so at least you'll know whether you have triggered it or not. These heroic events are more difficult and reward you more generously. As we can see, a chest spawn, and he's rewarded another EDZ token and a rare primary weapon. It actually appears that most rewards in Patrol will come from chests. Speaking of chests, there is a new brand of chest in Destiny 2 called a regional chest. These too will appear on your map as a sort of crosshair with a dot in the middle of it. and they're fairly abundant in the world, as I spotted approximately 16 or so of these regional chests on the map. They are actually fairly hidden though, and we can see that they're fairly rewarding as well. He's given 3 EDZ tokens and 1000 Glimmer for this one regional chest, so not too bad. Next we need to talk about Lost Sectors, and similar to regional chests, they're located on the map, but it's simply a base idea of their whereabouts. This player actually said he had quite a difficult time locating the Lost Sector himself. As you can see in this footage, they speed it up when he's lost. Once he finds the entrance and begins to explore, he encounters a common, ordinary chest similar to the chests that were spread out in Patrol in Destiny 1. Interestingly though, he's rewarded a Desert Matte shader ×3. What's maybe even more interesting is that this shader is a green common shader. So perhaps there will be legendary or even exotic shaders in Destiny 2, which would be an added layer of the carrot on a stick chase that Destiny has always had. So for me, this would be greatly appreciated. This may be a weapon shader, which is probably my guess, or it may be an armor shader, but at least we have a rough idea about how we'll be earning these in Destiny 2. He's also given, as you can see, an EDZ token to boot. Apparently, the exploration aspect of these Lost Sectors is actually somewhat complex. Eventually, he finds Drekthus, a fallen metal captain. He's a part of the new mysterious fallen house, so perhaps this house is called House Metal, or revolves around metal, machinery, and industrial sort of features. The captain isn't extremely strong or difficult though from first glance, but once killed, the player receives a cash code for a nearby chest. The chest rewards the player with 2 rare armor pieces and 2 EDZ tokens. So perhaps this is a lower light level Lost Sector, or perhaps that Lost Sectors can scale with your own light level. But we still haven't seen any ways to earn legendary gear out in the wild. I personally would imagine Lost Sectors to be a pathway to legendary gear, but that's my own assumption and speculation. As the video wraps up, they also mention that there are scannable lore elements built into the environment, similar to the feature that was present in The Taken King, except hopefully Destiny's 2 system will be far more in-depth and actually worthwhile. They also return to Devrim Kay at the end and turn in some of their EDZ tokens. Apparently, it takes 10 EDZ tokens to receive an EDZ engram. In this engram, they're rewarded both a legendary weapon and a legendary Warlock bond, as well as a Dead Zone foliage shader ×2, which appears to be a green common shader as well. So while activities in the wild may not reward legendary gear directly, they do help you earn them through Devrim Kay and EDZ tokens. Finally, we see the player turn in his remaining EDZ tokens and Dusklight shards for faction rep with Devrim Kay, so that's another way to rank up his faction. There's tons of new footage from the European Dead Zone out there, so I recommend checking that out if you're interested in Destiny 2's patrols. Let me know if you think all of these activities are enough to keep Patrol fresh in Destiny 2, and if you got this far into this video, I'd like to thank you, yes you, very personally for listening, and as always, you stay golden, Guardians.